My daughter-in-law cut my hair. She is so pretty with long flowing locks. Who am I to say anything? On my son's wedding day, I woke up and the first thing I noticed was that my head was bare. No, I wasn't losing my hair. I was losing my mind. After his father left us, I had to work 3 jobs to raise him. I started planning the wedding. At first, she was very sweet and kept thanking me for everything. But after a while, she became increasingly rude and started treating me like a servant. Mom, why don't you go buy this? Mom, why don't you go fix that? All those years of sacrifices, all those nights of crying, all those times I wished I could give up. But I knew I couldn't because I had my son. After I had tried calling my son several times and he had ignored me, I decided to go to their house and ask him what was going on. But when I arrived, my daughter-in-law stopped me dead in my tracks. She looked at me from head to toe and said, "What are you doing here? You're not invited." My blood boiled. I was done playing nice. Now that he was married, I no longer had a purpose in life. My entire world was my son. And now he was gone. It didn't matter how hard I worked. I could never do enough for her. And when I got a promotion and could finally afford to buy myself some time to relax, guess who came along? If she didn't want me to be a part of her son's life, then fine. But she wouldn't be able to live peacefully either. But then she said something that surprised me. She told me that my son and her weren't happy and they were getting a divorce. So I moved in next door and made sure she heard me singing loudly every morning. Then I took up smoking and I would purposely walk by their house with my smoke drifting toward their windows. My darling son's fiancée. I liked her at first. She was beautiful and smart. We had a lot in common, so it was easy to get along with. I never imagined she'd become my daughter and make my life hell. How could this be? The last time I had a haircut was 2 months ago. Then it dawned on me. My wicked daughter-in-law had been here these past 2 months every day, cutting my hair little by little until it was all gone. I asked her, but she just laughed and said something like, "When a narcissist marries someone, they don't just change their partner, they also change the partner's family." Now that my son was married, I didn't see him as often as before. She had changed him too. He didn't visit me anymore. Whenever I called him, he sounded too busy to talk. And if I showed up at their house, he would act like I wasn't there. Sometimes he would even pretend not to know me. You needed a new look. What did she know? Nothing. I hated the way she looked down on me. Every time I went to her house, I felt like I had to walk on eggshells. She made me feel like I wasn't good enough for her family. Why? Was this her idea of revenge? You see, I have always loved my son more than anything in the world. When they told me they were getting married, I couldn't have been happier. Finally, my son would not be alone anymore. And then there was the haircut incident. I was so shocked and hurt. Why would she do this to me? I know now that I should have seen this coming. My whole world had fallen apart. The only person I still had was my grandson. But my daughter-in-law made sure that I didn't get to see him either. From now on, I was going to make her life miserable. One day she knocked on my door and asked me to stop. I could tell she was scared of me now. It made me feel powerful.